How's it going, guys? Peshkast here with the first episode of the Peshkast, where I take a break from watching Sally Amaki showrooms to talk about Weiss Wars. And today I'm joined by two other fairly prominent members of the Weiss community. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
I'm Buttsandcoconuts. You probably know me from typing in all caps.
I'm Tim Tom the Bim Bomb. I am much less famous than Uncle Butts.
Okay. So what the Peshkast is aiming to be is just like a smaller discussion type of video where we just bring up a couple like minor topics in Weiss Wars. It's not like super big picture meta sort of things, but we're going to be talking about a couple aspects of a certain card archetype in Weiss Wars. And so let's just get right into the first topic then. So first topic we're going to be looking at today concerns Musashi effects. So first question being, how strong do you feel Musashi abilities are in the current state of the game? And do you feel that they are still relevant right now? So whoever wants to start us off can go ahead and start.
Well, I think Musashis aren't very good, I guess. So like cancel burns are pretty whatever. The problem with something like Musashi versus Yami or Arl is you're not going to get as many instances of that kind of effect unless you play Excel World, but even then, those burns are not always guaranteed. Uh, kind of, Musashi's only really good if you like mill a 2 or a 3, I guess, and you stick a 3 or a 4. Because I think doing small instances of damage isn't that good when a lot of decks can just heal it off. Where like Aro and Yami are better sort of cancel burn ideas because you're going to stick a bunch of cancel burns on them, not just like 1 or 2 damage.
Well, it's not that bad if it deals 2 damage, right?
It's okay, but like, uh,
So like by this argument, like can we like safely assume that like cards with cancel burn 1 are just like complete garbage by comparison?
I think they're just always going to be worse than Musashi, unless you want to make some corner case of like you'll always burn 1 when they're at 3/6 or whatever.
Okay.
It's especially worse than Musashi when you consider the potential of Kimono Friends, because Musashi can burn through Kimono Friends where a single cancel burn will never burn.
All right, Thomas, you have any thoughts on Musashi's relevance?
I think I don't necessarily disagree. It's like right now Musashi is just a very good supplemental finisher as opposed to being like a main option for a lot of these decks. In particular, I think the archetype is really strong in conjunction with certain decks in meta, such as Kill a Kill, for example, who can more or less guarantee that the small chunk of damage from Musashi stick on the opponent over turns, which makes it a lot more powerful.
No, because of the anti-heal and kill.
Yeah, because of the anti-heal. I think it's just telling that it's not prominent in a lot of the top decks right now. Mainly, it's not a card that elevates top end so much as it just kind of bolsters it. It provides like a solid, splashable floor, low commitment card that you can play whenever there's no condition attached to it. There's no like extracurricular stuff you need to do to get a Musashi working. It's a nice, like easy card to play, which is I think where its strength lies.
So basically, what we've come up with, I guess, would be in a deck that has like other finishers, like probably one that would like have a climax combo because Musashi doesn't require one. Then that would be the sort of context that Musashi would be strongest in.
Maybe I think I think more accurately something like Kill a Kill, Little Busters, Old Kantai, like anti-heal decks.
Okay.
That's where you're going to get the most mileage, I think.
It sounds like it makes sense.
Yeah, because I like Thomas said, Musashi is like a low commitment card. It's something you could just kind of throw a couple in to a deck, and I guess I would use Sunshine as an example. Like most Japanese builds I see, just try to focus on the Yo burner, even though that set has a Musashi. I see that card at like 0, 1, and sometimes 2 in Japanese lists a lot. But that deck is just focused on the Yo burner more because the Yo burner is like potentially like 6 or so damage, where Musashi like doesn't do that much damage. It just is like insurance, I guess.
I mean, you would think that Love Live Sunshine would be like a really good fit, especially the way that they build the decks, where like they want to deal damage with the Yo burn, so they like put higher level cards, and so that sort of deck style would be hypothetically ideal for Musashi.
Yeah, but the double early play deck is super slot intensive. Like in the 2 soul Ruby Mari coin flip deck, Musashi fits a lot better in that because you have a lot more open slots, and then you actually are incentivized to play the pants in that build, which combos with the Musashi to also heal on reverse.
The other issue is like you can, if you deck build to make Musashi better, you're also deck building to make heal better. And I think more often than not, committing more attacks to resolving more Yos probably gets you more damage in the long run. The difference maker, of course, being what Uncle Butts mentioned about the heal combo. If you run that combo with the Yoshiko Musashi, then it's a little bit different because you get kind of like a similar damage economy thing going on with this Musashi and like Musashi anti-heal decks. You're dealing damage and healing down, or creating like a extra damage cushion to make it more effective over turns.
Okay, I think that sounds reasonable. And then Miles, you said you feel that that's better if you were playing the 2 soul Ruby build?
I mean, to me, focusing on the Musashi is like a big part of the 2 soul Ruby build. You're already built with like a heavier top end for Mari and for Yo, and a big part of that deck is you play like the 1 stock Dia to heal down stuff, and then you could just play Musashis, and it can be really easy to like heal 4 in a turn with that deck, and you don't have the luxury of that many slots to do all that as efficiently in a double early play deck.
All right, sounds good. Do you guys have any more thoughts, or do you guys want to go on to the second topic?
I think we're good.
Good?
No, I'm good.
All right, so now we will go on to topic number 2. So topic number 2 concerns a similar card profile to Musashi. So we're specifically going to be taking a look at the 3/2 Hibiki from the new Symphogear XD set, and the ability is right here for you guys watching the video. But I'm assuming you both already know how the ability works.
Yes.
Okay. So the topic itself, what are your thoughts on the new 3/2 Hibiki from Symphogear XD? And then we'll go into the follow-up question afterwards. So what are your initial thoughts on the card?
Well, my initial thoughts, like what I thought when it was spoiled, was I kind of freaked out for a moment. Not like a negative freaked out. I was pretty satisfied to see something like that. But then the more I thought about it, and after talking with Tim Tom, kind of about the numbers, I think it's fine.
Okay, Thomas?
Yeah, my first instinct was to grab a calculator and do the math. It's a nice splashable. It's a nice.
It's not splashable.
It's not splashable. What I mean is like in the same. Sorry. I think the overall impact is similar to that of Musashi, except it has a higher floor, in that the damage is
in increments,
typically going to be spread out across multiple burns as opposed to one burn. uh, you end up doing similar amounts of average damage in a turn with this Hibiki as you would with like a Musashi. Like the damage numbers kind of are relatively close to each other. Difference here being sometimes you'll do extra instances of that would otherwise get canceled. It's like, for example, if you milled a level 1 with Musashi, you'd be doing 2, which has a higher chance of canceling than like 2 cancel burns.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I think the plus soul that it can give something is kind of interesting.
What do you think about it compared to
Like that's something Musashi doesn't do.
What do you think about it compared to the old 3-2 Hibiki? Because I know there's a 3-2 Hibiki that just has a regular cancel burn, and I think it's hexproof. Not 100% sure.
It is.
It is hexproof.
Okay. What are your thoughts between the two? Because this one also has a stock cost associated with it.
I think hexproof is a super... I would not choose that card unless it was specifically a super hostile meta to... That would force me to choose a hexproof card.
Okay.
Like, if the meta were just entirely decks with anti-damage, such as Little Busters, Persona 5...
Or like rest counters.
Among others. Yeah, like a lot of that stuff, then I think the hexproof does become more of a consideration. If only to just play around it a little bit better. I don't know about tap counters. That's like you can still like play. You wouldn't have to completely abandon this card for hexproof attackers if you're playing against tap counters, because all you need is like 2 and you need to play the mill cancel burn on the side lane if you want.
Okay.
Because I think this card is strictly better as far as expected damage output goes.
Okay. Since
than the G Hibiki.
Also, since I know you like your math, so did you have any numbers that you came up with for this sort of effect?
Oh, sure. So, like, assuming you have, my assumptions were like, I tried to make a typical deck configuration when you're using this card. So, say like 22, being somewhat optimistic, like 22 hits to 30 cards, right?
22 and 30?
You know, fairly stand 22 hits and 30 cards,
Okay.
right? And so hits being
non-climax,
Hibiki Miku cards,
and yeah,
the yellow hits as
right.
And then the yellow events. If you run yellow events? So 22 hits and you have 8 climaxes left in deck. Average amount of burns per Hibiki is going to be around 1.6 or so, which indicates a slight bias towards 2 cancel burns. And to make it simple, you just add up the average amount of burns per Hibiki in every lane, and it's around like 4.
This is on the assumption that they all cancel as well.
4.8. Yeah, this is assumption if they okay. If they don't, well, I mean, if they don't cancel,
they're just like they're just eating damage. So
like
yeah,
so it's all good.
And it's around 4.8, right? And that indicates, I think, a heavy bias towards. So if there's gonna be a lot of worlds where you're gonna be doing 5 burns, and then a lot of worlds where you're doing just 4 burns, and a field of triple Hibiki is favored to do 5 total cancel burns rather than 4.
That sounds.
And that's like Yami.
That's like basically what Yami does.
Cancel burns.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. It's pretty good. Much better than a field of triple single cancel burners in that case, because you're just limited to 3, whereas this opens up your ceiling to potentially even hit 6 cancel burns if
you're a god.
If you're if variance favors you. So overall, I think just a stronger play. Only meta considerations would stop me from playing this card over the Hibiki from Symphogear G.
Okay. And I guess we can now move on to the second part of this topic, which is how effective do you think this ability profile would be in other sets if they printed this effect on a card that wasn't name restricted like this one, because this one only gets hits on Hibikis, Mikus, and yellow events, but rather if it was printed on something that had a trait restriction, especially in a set that had one big central trait that like every single card in the set has. How effective do you think that would be?
I mean, like, the math the math is the same in that case,
Okay, right,
regardless. And it's really hard to speculate on like a non-existent set, because like the card should do the exact same thing in that deck, but like, is that necessarily what the deck wants? What else can the deck do? Like, as a splashable card, it's probably more desirable than Musashi, for me at least. So I would be happy to see this again in another set. But it's hard to really have like hard context to it, I think.
Fair enough. Do you think it'll get printed in a future set?
How often do they not bring back an effect? Usually it feels like they only don't print another sort of effect. I mean, I don't know what I would describe the criteria as, but we haven't seen another Kome, for instance. But like, there's probably been effects since Kome's release that they've reprinted. I guess like Rize comes to mind for an effect they have brought back.
Mm-hmm. Kome's also a really
like the Rize from Kochi.
Yeah, Kome's also a really stupid card though.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but it's like, I don't think this card is so stupid that they wouldn't bring back this sort of generically applicable effect to like maybe it's in Hina Logic. It could totally be in Hina Logic, for instance.
Well, I mean, they've been thinking about this kind of card for a while, right? It's not the first time they've created like a level 3 with a milling component that activates some kind of late game function. So
I'm assuming we're referring to cards like Junes, Yosuke, Haru, or I don't know, maybe like Ronko effects.
Ronko.
Yes.
Yes.
This is just, I think this is one of the best. I think this is probably the best so far of this kind of archetype where, you know, you're milling stuff and you're doing stuff based on the cards that are milled.
Yeah, well, this is the only other ones I can think of are Haru, Yosuke,
and then Ronko type effects.
The green one from
Einhard Fuka.
Yeah, and all those are kind of like.
I know.
The first effect is very.
Oh right, there's the new Einhard Fuka, right?
Yeah, like they all gain power on 1, they all heal on 2, and they stock kick, clock kick, and deal 1 on 3. Where I think this is just more. This is more something you want to do than those effects.
Yeah, this is just better. Yeah.
Like the plus soul is really good, and then not having to sack, sack 3 on your mill for cancel burn is nice, because 2 and 3 is a cancel burn.
Yep.
Okay.
I really like the plus soul. Because it comes at a time, it comes post attack, right?
Yes.
Which I think is the prime time to get, because you have all the information you need to make the right decision as far as whether the plus soul is going to be effective.
It could actually be like.
I really like that they added that as the base, the one or more.
Yeah, I feel like that effect is like, that's gonna make it so much harder to live from like 3-6. Like, let's say you you're like starting your opponent's turn, your opponent's attack phase at like 3-4, and they attack with like the first copy, and then it cancels. They mill 3, and then they like put 1 soul on like second copy while they have like a climax in play, so then they can like side for 1 once their cancel burns are in or something like that. I don't know, just like hypothetical situation.
That's like a super ideal situation, but it's a very realistic situation. Yeah. It's like
it doesn't necessarily even have to be like the second attack, or like it can be the third attack if you have like multiple of these. Like, it just creates a lot of variable situations where you can like put soul here, or like stack multiple soul here and then like side or whatever. And these are the kind of things that other cards like Yami can't do, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, The only thing like about Yami versus this in that case of giving like the soul to side for one, that would only matter for Yami if like their deck was just literally a bunch of climaxes next to each other. Because it's like they'll probably die. Like if they cancel your third Yami attack, they'll probably die from the 2 cancel burns if they're at 3/6.
Yeah, probably.
Like there's a world where they don't, but it's in your favor at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would like to note that Yami is good for a lot of other reasons besides the finishing effect.
yeah, like the hexproof being the big one, and being
and
hand
then
on
like
clubbable.
this isn't necessarily amazing. The comparison to Yami doesn't necessarily merit like I'm searching for a word. Doesn't necessarily merit like a super favorable reception. It's not like OP or anything because it's comparable to Yami.
For like the same the same
nice-
reason like Arley's not, I'm assuming.
Well, I think the extra cancel burn actually does matter a lot. I think 6 cancel burns is pretty nutty if you can do it for cheap, like Puyo Puyo can. Because
I mean,
it just makes a diff. It just, you know.
the big
closes out
difference
the game
here
better.
is like if you have 2 wins, right, as the TLR player, like this is so much harder to get a second turn of than it is like a second turn of Yami's.
Yeah.
So you can't like have a turn like TLR could do a turn doing some like Yami stuff to catch up and then like have a Yami kill turn. But using this to catch up and then have like another impactful kill turn is going to be difficult for the Hibiki deck with what cards Hibiki has available.
Sounds about right.
Like this would actually be a pretty interesting like complementary finisher to like any of the other stuff in Symphogear that they just got, like the non-Hibiki stuff.
You're right, but it's in the Hibiki deck. And then
Yeah, like but I think you could totally like play a couple Chris's or something in a Hibiki deck to try to get the burn 3. But I would be interested in trying this kind of effect with like the Maria Xenon, but that's too many slots to really try to justify, I think.
yeah, I agree. All of the Hibiki decks level 3, all of Hibiki's level 3s are like cancel burns, right? Like there's an on play cancel burn, a climax combo cancel burn, and then there's this one.
Yeah, there's also she has 2 healers, one of them is climax combo search, one of them is climax combo cancel burn.
Right.
And then there's the come and play hexproof cancel burn from G.
So basically it's like a terrible deck to like be behind with, because they don't have like a high damage ceiling.
Yeah, I mean Symphogear just in general didn't have a high damage ceiling before this set. Like there was nothing like the Chris burn 3 or the Maria burn 4 before. You were doing cancel burns or you were burning 1 with the Megadeth Fuga Chris, or you were doing like clock kicks, I guess, with the GX Shirabe. Like it was all very small instances of damage.
Okay. You guys have any more thoughts? I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to talk about for these cards. Anything?
Can't think of anything else.
Miles?
I don't know, man. They're gonna make me think this card profile is stupid in the future. They're gonna like print it in some set that has like really stupid stuff. I can't wait. Oh, dude, Nanoha, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my
dude,
God.
that's what I was saying. I was listing all the sets that Musashi's in. I was like, oh,
Nanoha has Musashi.
they're gonna.
Well, the Fate Musashi is really good because of the bounce, I think. But
Yeah.
whatever.
And she gives a soul as well, right?
The potential here is. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add the potential here as with all splashable finishers is like the potential to layer this with other stuff. So not necessarily combining it in conjunction with other combos, but maybe something comparable to say EO
So
from Schoolgirl Strikers.
just like something that like gets the opponent to that point where this card starts to become a very big threat. Is like that sort of thing?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So EO, or like even like if they ever printed Haruka again.
Oh yeah, this would be pretty good with that kind of effect.
Wait, like IMAS Haruka?
Yeah, man. I'm asked Haruka. Cancel or on attack
Nice.
burn 1 everywhere. That would be
Yeah.
They're not gonna.
that would be
I think
so
it's
sick
unlikely,
with this
but,
card. That would be disgusting.
But I think the potential is there since it's a splashable finisher that does this.
I mean, maybe this will be just like Musashi, how like Musashi just ended up being the worst Musashi.
And this will end up being like
Damn.
the worst version
Musashi.
of this card.
Yeah, can't side. Like, nice.
The name restriction on this one
And
does
then,
make it
like-
pretty crappy. So
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe there'll be just some nutty ones in the future.
Yeah, you get to bounce a card or something.
maybe this will be in a
You
set that
get
has
4.
anti-heal. What about that? What sets have anti-heal that don't already have Musashi? Rewrite? Rewrite just got a set though.
The Dread Operation.
Oh,
Yo.
yeah, that's not getting it.
Gargantia.
Those are not getting new sets.
Oh.
Oh my god, they would.
I mean, they have anti-heal. I don't know.
They would love this
Still
card
print
though.
anti-heal and not.
Yeah, they still can.
I think Burn 5 is plenty for Vivid Dread, sir.
No, it's like pay 3, drop 2, burn 5, right?
Yeah, it's like a restander.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe in the future they'll print some set that has anti-heal and this in the same set, and it'll be the best set or something. And some other finisher that has a climax combo burn or something.
Yeah, but it depends on the rest of the deck, right? You can't completely judge a deck by its top end.
Yeah, of course.
I think this would be like the least impactful part of any top end. I think it'd be more that the rest of the deck is just super good. And then here's this card just on top. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, all good then? I guess?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for coming on, guys. And for all the viewers, this has been the first episode of the Peshkast. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any ideas for discussion that you guys would like to see in future episodes, you can feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. Or just message me on Facebook, Discord, whatever, if you guys have any ideas. And maybe your idea might get featured on a future episode. So until next time, thanks for watching. This has been Peshkast. Bye.